Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation.
To mark the occasion of the last battle led by Marcus Canul in Orange Walk, the Northern Maya Association of Belize held a special ceremony to mark Maya Heroes Day. The day had the participation of several dignitaries, and the keynote address was delivered by Governor General of Belize, Her Excellency Dame Froyla Tzalam. Our Belize Watch team was on hand for the occasion and spoke with a couple individuals who work to keep the culture alive. We will have that for you after we hear from our partners. Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, the Barry, Shell Belize, and the National Gas Company.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project, and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Pay less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The Trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow. Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well, go Shell!
It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you.
And I have the honor and privilege of being in Orange Walk Town, where we have just had a wonderful ceremony commemorating the culture of the Maya Yucatec in this side of our country, you know. And of course, we know the Maya Yucatec settled after the caste war. And so with me, Ms. Angelita Magaña, who I know is from San Joaquin, but I've known Ms. Angelita Magaña for quite some time. But I haven't seen you for quite some time, Miss Angelita. So
I have been working all over the country. I think I know 95% of every single village or settlement in Belize. Well, I was working with the Red Cross, but let's start from the beginning. Okay, as you know, my name is Maria Angelita Alvarez, married to Magania.
yes.
Okay, and we just celebrated our 60 wedding anniversary.
60
years.
60 years. Congratulations, Miss Angelita.
This last Saturday, the 27th of August, we celebrated 60 years.
Let me congratulate you again and again, because 60 years is not easy. I can remember you from way back in the days of the Red Cross, but let's go ahead.
Okay. Through hell and high water, we have been together. Thank the good Lord. And my 5 kids, my 5 children. Okay. 62, I got married to my husband from San Joaquin. We got married, and I went to live in San Joaquin. So I've been living in San Joaquin 60 years.
Let's get your husband's name. So.
Gilberto Magania.
All right, Gilberto, of course, I know. That's the young man right here. Yeah. He called me too, He come and he said, Angelita is right over there. I said, okay, here we go.
Okay, so when I went there, the people from San Joaquin used to go to Bacalar to celebrate San Joaquin Day, because they didn't have anything in San Joaquin. They didn't have a church, they didn't have anything celebrating San Joaquin, just the name of San Joaquin. So after being there for 2 years, the second year when I saw the crowds of people going to Bacalar, when I came back, I spoke to some of them, why do you go to Bacalar? And they told me, they go there because there's the saint there, San Joaquin, he does a lot of miracles, and so we have faith in him, we have to go and beg him for something, give him thanks for something. I said, that's very nice of you, your faith really shows well, but I think that God, Jesus, is the one who makes the miracles. So San Joaquin he's the grandfather of Jesus, because he's the husband of Santa Ana. They are parents of Virgin Mary. Yeah. So he's the grandfather. So I think he's everywhere where God is, right? So why not celebrate it right here? This is San Joaquin. We have to celebrate it here. And they look at me like, why is this stranger here coming to talk about, this thing? I said, well, I spoke to several elders, and thank the good Lord, my father-in-law, Mr. Salustiano Magana, he was the first gentleman who really said, I go with you. I am a Maya Mestiza, and I would like to have San Joaquin Fiesta celebrated here. My mother-in-law didn't agree so much, and the other people didn't. But then he said, you have very nice ideas, because I explained to him why I wanted it, right? I said, we can work, and we can get a church named San Joaquin here, because they use the school once whenever there was mass. I said, that's not proper. We have to have a church named San Joaquin with a statue of San Joaquin, and you will see how many miracles San Joaquin will do in San Joaquin. They said, oh my God, maybe you're right. So I got a bunch of young people, and we started dancing. I said, I'll teach you. So I knew a little bit of dancing from a nun. I learned it from a nun, because all my teachers were Palotine nuns. Palotine nuns, yes. And so they taught me a lot about culture, about, they had their own culture, European culture. But they said, San Joaquin should have, you people could have something with you too. So I said, okay. So we got a group of young men and women, and we started dancing. Right now, their grandchildren are beginning to dance our cultural haranas too, right? Anyway, so we started, and we raised funds. We did a lot of things to raise funds, and I got the district commissioner in Corozal, Mr. Ramon Ramirez, to join. He was very enthused with the idea. My father, who was the alcalde, the elders in the village, and they all said, okay, we'll support you, and we're going to support. I have no complaint about those people. They really, they really supported me right through. And we said, okay, this is 1965. I was married 62, right? Yeah. So by the time I got this organization going, it was 65, 3 years after I was there. I said, so can we plan to buy a statue next year? And I said, well, I don't know. We have to make miracles, so we have to ask San Joaquin.
You need to have San Joaquin in San Joaquin.
And I said, so we did. We started begging, lobbying for this, lobbying for that. And then we got Mr. George Price involved, right? And we told him, Mr. George Price, we want to celebrate our cultural day, our San Joaquin Day in San Joaquin. I don't like the people going over to Bacalar. Those who want to go, we cannot stop them, but I think we can get them to stay. And Mr. Price was very enthused with the idea. He said, yes, señora, muy buena idea. Usted lo puede hacer.
He would support things like that. Yeah.
So we started putting money together to buy the statue. Then I wanted to know, how can I get it? I had to go to Bacalar, ask where do they get the statues and everything. I did a lot of lobbying all over Bacalar. And I got the novena. I got the name of the persons who are doing the statue, the Hermanos Calderon in Merida. They gave me the address. I wrote to them. And I sent a picture. In Bacalar, I took a picture, but it came out just a very small picture, right? And I sent it to them. I said, could you make a statue like this? And they said, well, no, the picture is too small. I said, oh my God, we have already
Did you come back and get another picture?
I came back and I said, and that time in Corozal, no one was there to enlarge pictures. And that was in the 60s.
In the 60s, it was very primitive, yeah.
Okay, anyway, when I was in school, I went back to school. I cried that day when they sent me back the picture. Anyway, I was in school. I was teaching there with the nuns when an envelope was handed to me. They said, your mother-in-law sent this, that Batibos, somebody came in Batibos and left this for you, for the person in charge of the church, which was the school. When I opened it, a big picture of San Joaquin was there.
Miracles do happen, right?
Miracles. I still have that picture.
Wow.
And I said, who sent it? My mother said, it's a lady who came down from, she had, let me see, I think she had a blue skirt with a white blouse, something like that. So I went I asked permission to go to Corozal, leave school for at least 1 or 2 hours, went to Batibos and SAP, because at that time Batibos used to go one day, come back the other day. It was,
There was no continuous. The roads were made up, were really dusty and.
I don't know how many hours it took to reach here, and I went through Mascal Road. That was the old road, right? Okay, anyway. So I asked the driver, the conductor, do you remember any lady coming down in San Joaquin? He said, well, a lot of people came down. They wanted to use the bathroom. They wanted to buy biscuit. They wanted to buy a soft drink because my father-in-law had a little store, right? So whenever they stopped there, they would buy something to eat. He said, and this lady came down, but I don't recall her. If she came down with the crowd, I don't recall. I said, oh my God, so I'm at a dead spot. I tried to investigate all over. Where did this lady come? Up to now, I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know, but I have the picture. And she sent it to me. Immediately that same night, I sent it to, I prepared a letter and I sent it to Bacalar, to Merida, to Hermano Calderon. Now, yes, we can start making her, but you have to make a deposit, right? So I went to the priest in Chatomal and he deposited the money for me to the Hermanos Calderon. And that's how they started the statue. Anyway, story too long. They brought the statue 67, early 67. Mr. Price was very instrumental in getting us, tax-free this and whatever, and how to bring it in. And anyway, he helped us a lot. And so we said, okay, our first fiesta in 1967.
The first San Joaquin Fiesta was around 1967 then?
67. That was
67.
the first celebration of the fiesta.
Celebration of the San Joaquin Fiesta. And
67. At the school, under a ramada, a huge ramada made of coconut palms and everything, the traditional ramada that is just sticks all around, and even to sit down and put palms, cocoon palms and coconut palms all over.
But that fiesta that you started in 1967 blossomed out to be one of the biggest fiestas in the country, because in the whole country, but vamos a San Joaquin.
Yes, we had huge crowd, thousands of people were there this year.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. We started there. I had my little dance group, and they presented their dances. And thank God it didn't rain that first night, that first day. We had the eve. We inaugurated on the 15th in the eve, and then we had a big fiesta on the 16th, which was San Joaquin Day at the time, 16th of August. So we had a big fiesta. And from there, the second year, we worked hard to get the second year. And it rained, poor rain, right, from the day before. Never mind, the people took off their shoes because the shoes would stick in the mud, and they danced in the mud.
Yes, I remember. I think I remember going to one at San Joaquin Fiesta. It was raining a lot indeed. In the schoolyard, yeah. That was about, I think I weighed 68. I just came to Belize, yeah.
So we had already some funds from the first fiesta, and we had the second fiesta. So I met again with the elders and with the committee, and I said, listen, we have to form this fiesta committee. And what we're going to do, we won't touch this money, let's make a park.
What?
A park with cement,
Okay.
right? And so we went to the community center and we made a small park there, not the big one we have right now, about half that size. We made one right there. And that's where we celebrated the third San Joaquin Fiesta. And then it grew and grew like that. And I have the whole history of with dates and everything, but I have it at home.
Oh, my Angelita, we have to go and see that those dates. We definitely have to look at those dates because San Joaquin is a village that was settled by people who were coming from Guerra de Castas, right?
So that's a story to begin with, right? And so I have the whole chronological dates of all from the first fiesta up to the present, right?
Definitely we want to do that.
Leave about the fiesta now. Let's go to the culture. So as I started with dancing in 67, by the 70s, I was really into our real culture, right? Maya Mestizo. And remember that in Belize we have 3 groups of Mayas. We have the Yucatec Maya, northern. We have the Mupan Maya, west. And you have the Quechua Maya, south.
3 main groups.
I've worked with the 3 of them. I met them and we talk about, several things.
The Caiche sort of blended into the Yucatec, right? Sort of blended there.
The Caiche, they came from Cruzov.
Yeah, from Cruzov.
From Cruzov. I have history books about that, right? Written by Bolio. Bolio was the only one who really gave a kind of importance to the Yucatecans, to the Mayas, because all the others were writing history from the English point of view. Yeah. We have books and history of Belize and all that.
There's a major difference in that, not looking at the English point of view and then the Cruzov point of view as to why they were doing what they were doing. We need to go over this history because it's an history that has always fascinated me.
Who is doing that?
I spoke with Hugo a bit about it too as well.
And so I have my own books, my own history books that I buy in Merida, and I read a lot about it so I understand what this is about. Anyway, so I started. I don't know if you recall in the early 70s or the mid 70s, I'm not too sure. I had a small group of Harana dancers. Right now, one of them is the lecturer at UB. From way back, he was about 7 or 8 years old at that time. Excellent. We won in San Joaquin, in the rural area, we won in Corozal, and we won at the Belize Institute. Mr. Vernon, Greg Vernon, I think? Greg Vernon. He was there, and I have to go into those archives and check the exact date that we danced, because I'm not too sure about the date, but we should have some pictures of when these children won. I have pictures of them dancing at the Belize Institute, and they won at the Belize Institute too. So that is what more, gave us that inspiration. We can do a lot with our culture. We don't.
Always been active in promoting the Maya culture. From I've known you, the times that the Red Cross, because a lot of people don't know we served together at the Belize Red Cross many years ago.
So from there we started, and now I have a group. And as you heard, one of my dancers, she was 8 years old, she's still dancing. She's a grandmother and she's still dancing in the group, right? So we have this group now dancing, and we call them Raíces Mexicanas. Our roots come from Mexico because my family came from Mexico City. My husband's family came from Villahermosa and close to Yucatan. And that's when they were in jail in Yucatan, his family. His great-great-great-grandfather and grandmother were there, and they ran away. His great-great-grandmother, she could speak well Spanish and Maya, and she bribed the guard, giving him jewelry for them to escape, and he gave them a canoe, and that's how they managed to escape. But the canoe had a little hole, and so his great-great-grandfather had to take off his shirt and plug it in. And that's how they managed to cross Consejo and come then to all this around here in Sartene house, all around here. Then they went back to San Joaquin, and there they settled down.
And there was a bit of fear when they settled in San Joaquin, wasn't there? It was
high bush, and they thought they wanted to be closer to Bacalar so that they could go back to Bacalar and say thank you, San Joaquin. Yeah. That was the idea, right? And that's why they named there San Joaquin. They named San Joaquin. They gave them nothing. Okay, so there they took time settling down, but then they didn't do much about reviving the culture, keeping the culture in San Joaquin. So when I went there as a teacher, as I said in '62, that's when I kind of awakened some of them. But they were, and once they awoke, they were very active. And they said, okay, well, let's go through with this fiesta. And every year I had no problem. Men would go to the bush and cut, wood sticks and make the ramadas, and they would come and help with whatever I needed, the elders there.
What about the festivals that are held surrounding the fiesta?
So the fiesta, with the fiesta then, we try to have, we had, I think you were there for our, we had a fair once, just cultural fair, and we had competition, the youngest mestizo person and the oldest, and a little baby of 7 months won the youngest, 7 months. Yeah. She had her little, just like this, a little terno, and with her sandals and everything, her flowers in her head, 7 months. And the oldest one was, I think, 39 or something like that, right? She wore one. So Tony's Inn gave us, the prices for them to have a dinner at their restaurant for 2 that night. And we had something, and then we tried to continue it. But unfortunately, I was called by UNICEF to go and work in Belize City. And then I went there to work, and that's when I would travel the whole country with Red Cross. And I started with UNICEF. I worked with UNICEF 2 or 3 years, and I wanted to finish my home, so I got a better salary. And my children were going to high school, sixth form. They did a bachelor, their masters. The 3 boys have their masters already. That was my aim. And then I started giving out scholarships. I have given a lot of scholarships to people, especially girls. I think only 1 boy I paid his 4 years of high school. All the others were girls. And I'm so happy because these are really poor people that would have never gone, and they are very smart people. They have good jobs right now. And thank the good Lord, they're still there. Anyway, that's part of what we did, but that was on my own. But with the culture, no. That's now, we are together with this group for over 10 years now, and working hard. We have been all over. We have been invited twice to Sand Creek to dance there, to show our costumes and our dances and everything. We have danced here, we have danced in Belize City at Biltmore, we have danced, in Corozal, Chetumal. We do religious, very religious dances, liturgical dances, right? I learned from Miss Myrna Manzanare. She helped me to learn the broke down.
Okay.
And she was very instrumental.
Incorporate that into the dances as well.
Yes, because I asked her, I said, we want to learn not only our Maya, we want to learn, we are Belizean, so we have Belizean dances, like we dance to Lord Rayburn, same song, Yubande and Yubande. We do that dance to real broke down, and then we do the other one, who say Belize no have no culture? We dance that too.
Lila Vernon.
Lila Vernon's one. And so we do Yucatecan, we do Chapanecas, right? We do different types of Mexican or Maya mestizo dances.
And anyone who wants to get in contact with the group, how can they do that?
They just call me. My number is 623 0803. 0803.
Easy one to remember, Ms. Angelita. 673-0803.
That's and right now, Al-Gore came to us. She can go to San Joaquin to join with our group, and she wants to be part of it. She doesn't get much response, right? So she wants to learn some of the dances that we know that she doesn't know, right?
What about passing this tradition on to the younger folks, Ms. Angelita?
I'm coming to right now, as my foot was hurt. I was supposed to start teaching a group from Standard 3 and Standard 2 to go and learn to dance for this fiesta. Unfortunately, I got a broken ankle in March, and I'm just starting to walk. So, but she constantly called me. Just last week, she called me again. She said, "Will you be able to start with September?" I said, "Not September, dear, but maybe October, November, probably." Right? If I can see, I won't hurt my foot, and still I could start with them. I will start with them because we want to keep it on going. Right? Usually, when they get younger, as they reach maybe 15, 16, then they stop. But 4 years back, I had, I think, 17 dance members, and 9 of them were young people. Unfortunately, 2 got married, 1 ran away with a boyfriend, the other one went to work. The other one went to work in Belize City. 3 of them went to work in Belize City, and 2 they went back to Bacalar. 1 now here is a great nutritionist, She got her training there, and the other one is into environmental tourism. That's two of my dancers are there now. So we have different ages, right? From the young people now to the elderly in their 60s already. So that's more or less in a nutshell. But we have a lot of other little things, having fairs, having displays. Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no, it's almost a month. That there was the reopening of the House of Culture in Corozal. We put a booth there, and we put a lot of our costumes there for exhibition, and my dancers did a presentation there. Right?
Well, Ms. Angelita, we certainly need to congratulate you on all you have done to promote the culture here in the Northern District and throughout the whole country of Belize, really, and on the international scene as well. Now, Ms. Angelita, you are honored today, and I am sure all of us agree that you deserve the honor you received today, right? What does that mean to you to be referred to now as a Maya hero?
Well, thank you for your comments, and to me, it means just a recognition that people here from Belize could learn to appreciate their culture if there were more of us pushing this through, pulling this through, as we're recovering our intangible, traditions, culture, things like that. Some you can see easily, right? Those are the visible ones, tangible ones that you could say, okay, this, they do the finados, we dance for the Hanapishan, we dance for finados, we dance for different things. We've danced at the border every year. We used to dance, I hope they call us this year again. We used to dance every year at the border for the beginning of October, beginning of Maya Mestizo month, right? And so they would invite us there by the immigration, and we went there and welcome all the buses. So we dance outside. As the buses come in, the first thing they see is our dances right there, right? So that's at the border. And that comes from immigration. I don't know who pays for it, but they gave us a donation. Well, usually because some people call me and then I say, okay, we get ready. So we try to keep up whatever we can in our culture.
Ms. Angelita, let me thank you for talking with us and really wish you all the best. One quick question though, the future, how you see the future of the culture like developing in Belize?
This.
Keeping things like today alive, right?
This is what makes the difference. If we don't keep it up, if it fails for 1 year, I thought that what's happening now with the COVID and all that, we had to miss 2 years, right? But now I can see that we are really we rebound, as they say, we come back, right? Yeah. So there's nothing that will keep us back.
And a quick comment on the legacy of Marcus Canul.
Okay, Marcus Canul, I hope people recognize the importance of his life in our own culture now.
When we come back, we hear from Felicita Cantun, a Maya spiritual guide. She has been instrumental in ensuring that the young people have an appreciation for their culture.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow. Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well! Go Shell!
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you.
I'm with Ms. Felicita Cantun, who is a Maya Yucatec Cultural Ambassador.
Yes,
Ms.
I am.
Felicita, I have known you for quite some time, and I have always admired you. And let me put it to you, I've always admired the way you go about promoting the Maya culture, right? Especially the Maya Yucatec culture. That's a passion that you have had inside you. And for folks who might say, well, how come you know Ms. Felicita? Well, Ms. Felicita was trying to teach me Maya, but I was a hard learner. Also, she taught me to dance with a bottle on my head. It's the only time the only picture I have of me dancing with a bottle on my head was at Ms. Felicita's home. So, Ms. Felicita, it's an honor and a pleasure to link up with you, particularly after the years where nobody made a link up together and what have you. Now, Maya Yucatec Cultural Ambassador. Describe what that position entails.
Well, to me, it's just a way of life. To me, it's who I am. I have that Maya DNA. So to me, it's nothing big. I know people say, how come you have time to do this and do this and do that and do? Well, it's just Felicita, it's just me. I promote my culture anywhere I go. And I tell everybody I am a Maya. I wear my Mayan clothing. I eat my Mayan food. I eat my chaya with eggs. I eat my pirish pak. I eat my kabash bowl. I eat, you name it, I eat it. And I do the dances. Plus, I train the youths. I am working with youths 8 years up to 20 years. And it's just a way of life. I do it because I have a passion for it. Nobody pays me.
What instilled this passion? And when did you realize that you had this passion for the culture?
Well, I can recall my mother. At that time when we were growing up, no electricity, no Facebook, no nothing. Maybe just one little radio with their batteries this big. And that was it. So at nights, my mother would rock me in the hammock, telling me stories about the Tata Duenda, about the Llorona, about the Ishtabay, about these stories.
Yeah.
And then she would dance the haranas for me to see. And she would speak to me about the way they used to celebrate the dances and all these things. And Plus, my father was a milpero who practiced milpa. And then he had corn, beans, peppers, pumpkins, all these things. So it was just the way I grew up.
You were steeped in the culture.
So, and I just had it in me.
Okay.
And I was a teacher. So it was easy for me to transmit my love for my culture to the children that I was teaching. Just today, one of my students was asking me, Miss, and how many groups of children have you had?
That's the question.
And I said, you know what? This lady who is 50 years old, she was my student. I taught her how to dance. I taught her how to do this. Miss, said, see? I said, Miss, you're famous, you know. Why? Because you're on YouTube. So I love being among the children, among the youths, among people. And that's just
and that's reflective of you, in all honesty. And your children, you have managed to inculcate that in your children.
Yes, we are a very united family. And my children were dancers.
I noticed grandchildren were dancing today at the ceremony.
Giovanni, she's my nieta, my granddaughter. And the two dancers, the male dancers, they are my grandchildren also.
Yeah.
And this is, I pass it on to all the children, but I insist that my grandchildren do it also. And they so love it. They don't see anything, they're not ashamed, no nothing. For example, yesterday we had a ceremony at Itivet. My grandson attends Itivet, and I told him, okay, Jonathan, you are going to perform in Itivet. And I thought he was going to feel ashamed because of being among his peers. No, nothing. He danced his way. Yeah, So I instill this. You know what? I think it's how you feel about things that you can easily pass it on to people. Because you have a passion. It's the way you talk about your dances, the way you talk about your stories, the way you talk about the things is that attracts people to it. And then, oh my goodness, I have fun.
And certainly I can see you have fun because I have always, like I said, admired that passion that you carry for the Yucatec Mayan culture, you know. Talk to me about the Yucatec Mayan culture a bit, what it entails and what it's all about.
Okay. First of all, it's a pity that we speak the Maya Yucatec language, but that is easily going in front of me. It's dying in front of me, in front of my eyes. And in York Creek, we're trying because I have children at home every day, a bunch of kids, 20, 25 children. I tell them, okay, come 3 o'clock, 1:30, they are there already.
Okay.
So there every day we speak either in Spanish or a phrase in Maya. They have to learn this every day. And also the culture, it's the food that we eat. As I said, we specialize in cochinita pibil. We specialize in chicken pibil. And these are the types of food. No pizza, nothing wrong with it if you like it, but for us, it's Maya Yucatec food. And what else? I think most of you noticed the beautiful embroidery wipil that the little girls and the boys had their guayaberas. Guess what? They did it themselves.
Okay.
Even the boys embroidered their guayaberas. And when I said, okay, I taught them the stitches. Okay, now you are going to do your own wipil, and boys, your own guayabera. And the boys were frightened. Miss, no puedo. And I said, who said you can't? Let me see. Raise your hands. Okay. Now, girls, raise your hands. I see 5 fingers here with the girls, and I see 5 here with the boys. So you cannot tell me that you won't be able to do it. Oh my goodness. And they feel so happy, so proud of themselves that they did their own guayaberas. And the girls their own whipil. And it's a sense of satisfaction for me to know that, okay, we did it.
Yes.
And okay, so that covers the language.
Can someone who does not know how to do the embroidery and so come to you and say, Miss Froyla, I want to learn. Will you just teach anyone to do it?
Of course, during the pandemic, I had lots of students all over Belize via Zoom.
Okay.
And up to now, even men were in that group. It was once a week. It was once a week for 2 hours. And then we had beginner's level, intermediate level, and advanced level. And they are selling what they do. I was going to America. I was on my way to the airplane. My goodness, and I saw ladies who are not from Belize wearing the headband that I taught the ladies how to do it. Oh my, so I said, oh, I feel good. Yeah. So well, the pandemic did not stop us. We found a way to do things. So yes, I teach them. And then the kids, well, I taught them face to face. Because, well, they live in the same community, so they come home every day. So I teach sewing, embroidery. So we have.
You also teach a language as well. So because I noticed today how the children, they sang the national anthem in Maya, Yucatec, and that was impressive.
Yeah. I teach the Yucatec language, and as I said, I insist at least a phrase in Maya. And then you keep practicing that. Whenever I tell stories, I integrate it. I integrate the story with the language. For example, if I am telling the story about the which one is that? I can say the shtabay. The shtabay would lure the drunk men and then take them to the and then yeah. So I said, okay, drunkard. Borracho. That is in English, in Spanish, calan in Maya.
Okay.
So whenever you
borracho and a calan.
Calan. So when you integrate this in the story with the children, it stays with them. El diablito. Everybody knows the devil kissing. Everybody knows that. So that is how I do it. Integrate everything.
And you have certainly taught numerous people the language for sure, at least a bit about the language and appreciation of the language, because even though you don't speak it every day, it's important to carry that appreciation and knowledge with you.
Plus, we have the spirituality. I am a certified Mayan priestess.
I noticed you this today. I was very impressed. I must tell you that ceremony you did today was impressive, right? And touching, in all honesty, touching, right? But tell us about being the Mayan priestess.
In Mayas, we live very close to nature, to Mother Nature. And we acknowledge the 4 directions.
North, south, east, west.
Mm-hmm. And along with the directions, we have the energy that comes with each direction. For example, the east is the energy of fire. So fire can be destructive, and it can be very useful. So, and then we have We have in the north, we have the winds, the air. We cannot live without air. So we have to invoke them. We have to give them thanks for being there with us. In the south, we have the earth. Well, the sun sets there, and it rises. I mean, this is west.
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 It's in the west. You said south, well, it's west area, man.
The sun sets here, and it rises up every day. So we have changes. We have changes every day, also changes in our lives. And the south, we have the water. Water. So
Agua.
Agua. So it is fire, air, earth, and water. Plus, we have the colors that go with each direction. And, well, whenever you pray, prayers is not like the Our Father that teach you in school, or the Hail Mary, or no, it is all the spirits will come, and then the thoughts will come to your mind, and then that is what you will say. So it's not something that I will teach you.
Yeah.
So you just get inspired, and then you say what you feel.
Yeah, earlier we talk about traditions and what have you, but one of the important traditions of the Maya was the puck, right? The hip ball. That Mayan ball game, that ball game is unique, because you hit the ball with your hip, and you cannot allow the ball to drop on the ground because it has to go hip to hip, right? That's the way it is, right? Who dropped the ball?
It drops. It can drop on the floor, and then they have to hit it to go down, and hit it with the hips, and they can even raise it up just using the hips. So this Mayan ball game was a dream, was a vision I had in 2003, and then this vision became a reality in 2015. So I organized the boys, the youths. I remember when I told my husband, this is what I intend to do with the youths. He said, I don't think you will have the youths, you will be able to organize the youths to play this game. And I said, yes, I will. And it became a reality.
So you're saying that the Pok was played by the ancient Maya, but nobody really practiced it in Belize until you decided to bring it back, to promote it. And you're telling us the story now of how you went about promoting it.
Because this was played by our ancestors, the Mayas, before colonization. But after colonization, well, everything ceased. And so I said I had a vision, and then in 2015, it became a reality. Organized the boys, got them, how would I say, excited. So we formed a team. We went to Merida. After 2 months practice, we came third. And then we became members of this association, this international association. And members of this international organization are from Mexico, Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador. And now we have even included Panama and the United States. So we have teams in all these countries. So, and we have a tournament every 2 years. So 2015, it was in Mexico. 2017, it was in Guatemala. We champions. 2019, in El Salvador, champions again. 2021, Mexico, champions again. And next year, we will host it.
And we'll be champions again.
Champions again. and this Mayan ball game, Pok-Tapok, has grown. It has grown. At first, it was just one team. And then from the same community, we had 2 teams. And now we have 3 teams. youths. Plus, right now, I have a kids team.
Wow. Really
So-
a cultural ambassador.
Yeah, the third team is Kinich Ahaw, Belize Poktapok team. And then the kids team is Chan Kinich Ahaw. Because Chan is small, is the Mayan word for small. It's the small Kinich Ahaw Poktapok team. Yes, and the kids are so excited. Oh my goodness. And I am excited along with them.
So you're keeping the culture alive at all levels, right? The adults, the adolescents, and the children,
Even the ladies.
and the ladies, obviously.
Yeah. So it's and as I say every day, whenever you do something that you love, something that you like, it's not headache for you. It's not a job for you. It's not. You just do it because you love it, without expecting any pay. No, nothing. I just do it because I love it, and I have the full support of my family.
Very good. We celebrated Maya Heroes Day, and the tribute was mostly to Marcus Canul, you know, and of course there were other Mayan heroes as well, but Marcus Canul stands out because of the Battle of Orange Walk, you know, where he was wounded. Talk to us a bit about that as far as you're concerned.
Well, this was, I remember long ago, people did not appreciate. They thought, they did not really appreciate what Marcos did for us. But then, as time went by, we said, oh, so this was the one who came across to fight for us, because it was the British who were occupying our lands, and then we are just here. So it was Marcus Canul who came, and he fought for us. He defended. So, and this is why this is happening today. And as they mentioned, it's not just Marcus Canul, because every day in each community we have lots of felicitas. We have felicitas in San Jose Palmar. We have felicita in
San Joaquin,
San
you name it.
Joaquin.
Yeah.
We have felicitas in different places.
All over.
And just as I love what I do, I am sure those people love what they do. So this is why we cannot say that there are no Mayas. We say Mayas, Kushanoon. Mayas, we are alive. We are here. So nobody can come and say, no, you're not a Maya. ¿Quién dijo que no soy Maya? I am Maya.
You're Maya, yeah.
Yes, I am a Maya. So we are alive.
And you're part and parcel of the growth and development of Belize.
Yes.
It's the important part about it. We are all one people, you know, made up of different ethnic strains, but all one people with one common identity, that of a Belizean.
Exactamente. That is why I always say, people like to distinguish us. Maya Yucatec, Maya Mopan, Maya Quechua, Maya this, Maya that. No, we are Maya. Somos Mayas de Belize.
Hugo Carrillo, the curator of the Youth and Mulyakash Museum, spoke of the history of Marcus Canul and why it is important that the narrative around Canul changes. We also hear from the president and vice president of the Northern Maya Association of Belize. We will be back after a word from our partners.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited project became a reality because Belizeans believed in the project and invested in its development, construction, and implementation. Equity financing for the project featured investments from local enterprises as well as one foreign investor. The public-private partnership structure of the project facilitated government's ownership of a 25% stake at no cost to the taxpayers. Debt financing for the project featured the successful launch of Belize's first ever project bonds, some $30 million financed by a cross-section of institutional investors. Investments came from credit unions, notably St. Francis Xavier Credit Union and Holy Redeemer Credit Union, insurance companies, pension funds, and commercial banks. In addition, the project managed to successfully secure some $12 million in debt financing from the IDB Invest. The IDB's participation in this debt financing is a testament to their belief in the environmental, social, and governance principles taken on by the developers of this project. This project is a testament to the growth and development of Belize's financial system. It shows confidence of Belizean investors to put their money behind homegrown and developed projects that contribute to our national development. I am proud of this project, and I'm hopeful that there are many more like it to come.
The National Gas Company of Belize, fueling Belize forward.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
Since 2008, the Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust has created opportunities for Belizeans to develop themselves and their communities. The trust employs tools that are intuitive, collaborative, and accessible so that every Belizean is empowered to achieve their full potential. Over 200,000 Belizeans have been impacted because of our various initiatives. The Belize Natural Energy Charitable Trust, empowering Belizeans of today to create the Belize of tomorrow. Shell V-Power, with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well! Go Shell!
It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you.
Okay, the Battle of Orange Walk took place on September 1st, led by the legendary Marcus Canul, who was actually wounded during the battle. And like you said today, Hugo Rene Carrillo, we are not sure if he died here in Belize or if he went back across the Rio Hondo or what happened. But the fact is that Marcus Canul had the courage to stand up to the European settlers here in Belize who they thought were not living up to the promises that they made. But you are the one with the story, so let's look at the life of Marcus Canul.
Okay, thank you. Marcus Canul is an Ikaiche Maya.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial because many people consider him a bandit, other people consider him a hero. Marcus Canul, we must give credit to Marcus Canul because in 1847, the Maya social war exploded in southern Mexico. And then Marcus Canul comes into the scene in 1864. He is named Comandante. At that time, Yucatan and Campeche had a lot of misunderstanding, regional conflicts. Marcus Canul came into this area and he had a philosophy of maintaining his lands, his beliefs, and that is why when he saw that the British were taking the resources from his area, he decided, you know, I need to go and charge taxes. One, but many people don't know really who was Marcus Canul. There is no records to say where he was born. But he comes into the area in 1864. Now, in 1864, at that time, Teosuco Tepic, the war was already exploding there.
Yeah.
So Marcus Canul was on this part. And then that is where he attacked Indian Church, Quam Hill, he marched into Corozal, and even into Orange Walk, and that is in the 1st of September in 1872. Now, Marcus Canul, there are many versions of him, because throughout our history, many of the writings that we have seen or that we know was written by the victors or the colonialists. Yeah. So few are the people who are researching and discovering who was really Marcus Canul. I have taken that challenge and even went up to Campeche, Yucatan, finding who was this Marcus Canul. A legacy. One, the last person I interviewed is right now 100 years old. Okay. And he narrated that his grandfather was in that battle here in Orange Walk. Okay. Regardless if Marcus Canul was wounded or regardless if he marched in with 150 of his men, what this gentleman told me is that Marcus Canul crossed the Rio Hondo by Agua Blanca, Agaspan Ridge, in Cimarron or in Trinidad, then through San Lazaro, and then that's where he came to Orange Walk. One. Two, yes, Marcus Canul was wounded, but he never died in Orange Walk. Yeah, he didn't die in Orange Walk. No. What the last revelations that I got was that when he was wounded, his men took him across Rio Hondo. So, some historians are saying that Marcus Canul was buried in San Roman. Some of them, they say it's just right here across the river. So there are different versions, but Marcus Canul was taken. You imagine from Orange Walk to Icaiche.
Icaiche was where? Just across.
Just across the border, the Rio Hondo, and it falls in the state of Quintana Roo. So you would need at least 2-3 days to arrive there at that time. Next thing about Marcos, when he was wounded, he asked to one of his soldiers to hold his weapon. And he had a sash. So when he opened that sash, there was the money that Marcus Canul has been collecting in the different camps. Okay. So that is a very important information.
Why is it so important?
Because then, two, they thought that Marcus Canul, like I said, was a bandit. But he believed that he needed to tax. Remember that the colonialism came to conquer with the sword and with the cross. So if they came and implemented laws, for example, I'm going to tax you, the church will going to tax you. So Marcus Canul said, you know what, if you can do that, I can do it. But remember, you're in my land. And this is where the big controversial comes in, a diplomatic controversial comes in, where Mexico and England, there was a back and forth in the diplomatic correspondence. At that time, Maximiliano was in Mexico. And also, that created a diplomatic controversial, because they were saying, you know what, you need to pay. Mexico needs to pay. But Mexico says, no. I am not responsible of Marcus Canul deeds in Quam Hill or in Orange Walk. So at that time, there was a back and forth correspondence. And yes, I had the opportunity to meet with some historians, and we saw documents. And if you check the federal documents in Mexico, some argue that Marcus Canul, yes, was a comandante, but some would argue that he was not officially a comandante under the state of Campeche.
Was he involved in the burning of the church at Indian Creek, the Catholic church, the Indian church? Yeah, it's Indian church. I call it Indian, but Indian church. It's called Indian church because the Catholic church there was burnt down, was to ashes, and the Catholics were expelled. And was Marcus Canul responsible for that?
They want to blame Marcus Canul for all of this. No. But yes, what had caused, and nobody wants to say it, it was the retaliation of the British to the communities in Yalbac, San Pedro cities. And that is why many people are just saying Marcus Canul was a bandit. But now, why there are no records of Marcus Canul?
Why? You tell me.
One, the British knew that having a figure like Marcus Canul, they needed to settle the camp, the colony. Since they were supplying the Khrushchev weapons, ammunitions, to the Mayas, and they had armed the Khrushchev to fight against the Ikaiche.
Yeah. You know, that's a funny role there, you know, and maybe we should put some clarity on that. You know, the Khrushchev Maya were fighting against anything that was Hispanic or half-breed, you call it. They called it at the time, mestizo, right? I'm just saying it crudely how it was referred to at the time. So if you were mixed with Spanish and Maya, you were an enemy. If you were just Spanish, you were also an enemy, right? You had to be a pure-blooded Yucatec Maya of whatever tribe. Yes. And then why would the Khrushchev, who saw this cross as telling them to wage this holy war, why would they go against their fellow Ikaiche?
Cecilio Chi from Tepic, he believed that
Tepic was Ikaiche?
Tepic was Khrushchev.
Khrushchev, okay.
Yes, so Cecilio Chi, after the execution of Manuel Antonio I in 26 July in 1847, 4 days after, Cecilio Chi and Jacinto Pat attacked the community of Tepic. There, they killed 20 families, non-Maya families. So in other words, white people, Spanish. Cecilio went to the extreme in the elimination, and he said or believed that it was to be pure Maya. Out with the invaders. Now, as time progresses, some of the Mayas decided, you know what, we will not participate. We don't go with that mentality. We are going to branch off. We are going to sign a treaty with the British. We're going to sign a treaty with the Mexicans. But that was a strategy also for the Mexican, the Yucatec government. That was a strategy also of the British to divide the Mayas and use them in the regional conflicts. The Ikaiche Maya moved out, and they were attacked by the Khrushchevs. And that is why I had mentioned that we need to rewrite the history of Marcus Canul. Yeah. Because Marcus Canul faced the big power. And I believe that that was the road, not only as the Khrushchev believed, to have an independent nation. Little that they knew that the British were going to stop selling arms, weapons, and they were going to be abandoned. The Ikaiche, no. he stood up and fought against the British because they knew. But why? Now, why? If Marcus Canul decided to join the Santa Cruz, the Cruzab, it was going to be war. Because then there were conflicts within the Mayas. Jacinto Pat was killed, Cecilio Chi was killed by his own men. So there was also a power struggle. Now, looking at the autonomy of the Ikaiche, can we say that they had an autonomy? Yes or no? That is to be discussed and debated also. It's a pity that different authors classify the Mayas, you're a Cruzab, you're an Ikaiche, you are from Bialbak. We are the same. And we were fighting, but we were fighting against each other. Yes. And I think that we must give credit to Marcus Canul because he brought the Costa War here, because of the consequences that was here. The lands that belonged to the Mayas, even Porfirio Diaz had to come up in the scene. And that is why we have a border. They signed the treaty.
The treaty signed around that same time,
Around that same time. And look at it, that a border was defined between Mexico and Belize, but yet the state of Quintana Roo and Campeche had disputes up to today.
But look, to put Marcus Canul more in light as to why would he wage a battle in Corozal and Orange Walk, correct me if I'm wrong, the way I understand it is that the British were supplying weapons to the Cruzab, number uno, right? The British at the same time were giving refuge to people who were fleeing from the Cruzab. In other words, I'm fleeing from the Cruzab, I get refuge by the British, but the British will still give the weapons to the Cruzab. That's how I read it. I don't know if I'm correct with that. Yes. So I'm trying to get to Marcus Canul's reason now. So how would that, I guess he did not like that play. I'm just guessing. You correct, maybe you should take it from here.
Okay. On in the anniversary of emancipation, I was across with some of our brothers in Quintana Roo at the different ceremonial places. And we were discussing this same issue about Marcus Canul and their leaders. And one of them told me that, you know, that yes, they looked at the Cruzab, they looked at the British, pardon, because the British was the one, the right hand for them to have and fight the Mexican, the Spanish, the Yucatecs. To the extent that there was a British flag across Mexico. But now, like you said, Los Watches, that the Mexican army burned it. So no, it's like this. It's like Belize. We look up to England. For why? For protection? For defense? No. Our grandparents, they had to sing God Save the Queen.
Yeah, of course.
And that is the mentality and that is the philosophy that we have to decolonize our people. And I think Marcus Canul is part of that philosophy, that we need to teach our generation who was Marcus Canul, why he had to come to this area, why he had to support this empire. It's nothing about it. Everybody thinks that it's a war, attacks, killing. No, it's not about that, you know. It's about a mentality, it's about a philosophy. For example, we are in demand of land. Marcus Canul knew that, hey, this is my land. What are you doing? You are destroying the temples of my forefathers, and you are building big buildings, cathedrals.
supplying my enemies with weapons.
My own brothers.
With weapons to shoot me. You know?
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out why would he be so. And I think weren't some promises made to him that were not kept as well?
They were not kept. For example, that they were supposed to pay the rent.
Yeah.
It was not kept. And that is why when he took Quam Hill, that is where the diplomatic explosion started. Because then afterwards, you know what? I am accusing an Indio of attacking my camps. Now, the ministry in Mexico is, I'm not responsible. And the Brits said, yes, you are, because he's a Mexican. He belongs in the area of Campeche. So it's not just of a state, but it's a federal with another country.
Yeah, so there's a commonality between us and Mexico and the neighboring states in Mexico. Yahaira Vega and Arturo Cantun of the Northern Maya Association of Belize. Thank you so much for the invite to both of you. I'd like to say that because both of you were instrumental in that invitation to witness the ceremony we saw today. Very impressive, and I think I need to congratulate you all for putting together such an impressive and heartwarming ceremony, because I sat there and I enjoyed every minute of it. So congratulations to you and all who are involved. Tell us about the association.
All right, well, the association was formed in 2017, and it was the interest of several stakeholders in the promotion of Yucatec culture. We came together and we decided that, we're going to come and pool our resources together and form a network because we wanted to work together. And that is how the association formed in April of 2017. And we wanted to find an event that will, highlight everything we're doing. And that's how we came up with Maya Heroes Day. And the first one was held on September 1st, 2017. It is the focus of the event is to highlight the work of past promoters of Maya culture, who we regard as heroes in our community. And from there on, we have been recognizing every year 2 people for the work that they do in promoting and safeguarding the Yucatec culture.
You certainly recognized 2 people today, and maybe we could look at these 2 people that were recognized very briefly.
Okay, so like Arturo said, the main purpose of celebrating Maya Heroes Day is to give recognition to the hard work and dedication of individuals or groups of individuals that strive day to day to safeguard the Yucatec Maya culture. Safeguarding in all aspects, whether it be in food and language, in dance, in spirituality, in sports. Some way or another, they have made their contribution to make sure that the traditions have been passed on to new generations to ensure its continuity.
And these 2 people were Ms. Angelita Magana and
Mr. Fernando Martinez from San Narciso. He was unable to be here today, but we will make a special trip to his home in San Narciso to give him his award. He has been very essential in the community of San Narciso, as he has been the person who has been teaching the younger generations from different schools around that surrounding community to do the various dances of the Yucatec Maya culture. Additionally, he also maintains the tradition of using farming, traditional farming, and he has taught that to his children, and that is one of the means of way of life that they use for day to day. And likewise, Ms. Angelita from the 1960s, from the early 1960s, she has been involved in teaching various groups of younger people and younger generations about the dance and about the different rituals that take place in the Yucatec Maya culture. And she has been very instrumental too in her community, because the activities that she has planned that entail the components of the Yucatec Maya culture have been used as fundraising activities to do different endeavors within the San Joaquin community.
Okay, what are the future plans for the association?
Well, before that, I wanted to add that the selection process of these candidates who got the award this year, we started last year with opening it up to the entire Belizean community, and we have a form. Before that, we consulted with other stakeholders in the community, and they made recommendations. But last year, we decided, we want to make this wider, have everybody have an input in this, and we developed a form which we shared via email, via links, and by different forms. And so they fill it in, and then the person who wants to nominate somebody fills in certain requirements in the field that they need to be recognized, and the work, and kind of like justification as to why this person is being recommended. And that's the way we selected. We have a committee that looks through it, and after meeting the criteria, then they will select these two people. And it's something that's beyond us. We don't take part of that. We select people that are knowledgeable of the history, that they make the decision of selecting these people. The future of the association is to keep it growing. Our main focus and ambition is that we have younger generations form part of it. We've been doing a lot of outreach activities in the last year. COVID is now allowing us to go back to the communities and do more face-to-face engagements, and that is what we have been doing. We have been reaching out to younger generations, young people in the high schools, and kids also in the primary schools, kind of like awaken their interest in the culture, teach them and have them feel proud of it. And little by little, we see that they are joining. It's not a lot, but nonetheless, we have like 1 or 2 people joining every other time that we have meetings. So our focus is that, and continue expanding, sharing our knowledge about it, sharing our heritage in all the elements that we have.
Do you see yourself expanding throughout the entire country, or just here in the north?
Well, the Yucatec Maya communities are mostly found in Corozal, Orange Walk, and the Cayo district. All right, but we work very well with the Maya of the South, with Pablo Mis, with the Quechua Maya, Mopan Maya. We also are part of BENIC, which is a Belize National Indigenous Council, which the Garifuna is part of it. And we work together as indigenous people for projects to build capacity in our communities. Jaira can speak more about that. Currently, we have 2 projects ongoing that we work as an indigenous community, which includes Mopan Maya, Quechua Maya, Yucatec Maya, and the Garifuna.
Well, our engagement in the Belize National Indigenous Council also extends our role as indigenous people, because it helps us to add to the existing policies of the country and of the international world, so to speak, because we give our inputs and our recommendations. Sometimes they're taken into consideration. Sometimes, at least our voices are heard, but we still need to work collectively to ensure that indigenous people's rights and voices are heard.
So I would say that your mission really is in line with what we do at Belize Watch. Belize Watch we seek to take the knowledge of the past, see how it impacts the present, and when you impact the present and you learn and you have your past in mind, then you can shape your future, right? Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, shaping the future. That's where we go with that show. And I want to thank you all for talking with me, and really, let's end on that note there. Arturo, you want to go first?
Well, we want to thank everybody that supports us. We're very grateful for everyone that it comes in a very small way. People might just support us with buying certain things that we're selling. People that come out and help us put chairs out, and that is the kind of support in our community that we're very grateful for. There are people that do small things and people that do larger things. To everybody, thank you, and keep being with us, because that is what keeps us motivated to continue going forward.
And then we also want to encourage viewers and listeners to tap into our resources that we have available. We have a YouTube channel, and we also have a Facebook page that documents most of these events. And we have been, over the years, doing a bit of documentation from individuals who have certain knowledge that we would like to be shared, because at times we have teachers or students who reach out to us to ask certain questions that sometimes we don't know the answers to. But there are individuals in the communities that we have documented and we have posted information that's available and accessible to everyone.
Let me say thank you again, and let us say thank you to Mayor Ladrick Madbull Shepherd for allowing us to use the town hall, his office here in the town hall, to talk with you guys. Thank you so much, Mayor. And for making us feel at home here in Orange Walk, too, because we do feel at home when we come to Orange Walk, you know. So thank you so much, right? And the tribute to Marcus Canul was excellent. So all the best, right? And it's all a labor of love, and because it's a labor of love and we have choices, we say, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love. Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You and me. But guess what? All are we the one.